Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Avs faced off against the Blues. Colorado treated everyone to a magical offensive display, and they come away with the win. The Golden Knights were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Rangers. Vegas picks apart their opponents surgically with the win. The Senators took to the road to match up with the Canadiens. Ottawa topples their opponents with a strong... I want to bring it back to him for just a second here. When you look at trying to project who's going to win what awards this season, I'll say this. I think you're looking at the leading candidate for the Lady Byng Award. Most gentlemanly player. And it's not to suggest he's soft. He plays hard. He competes. He's not dirty. Goes out there and delivers. Right? That's a guy you can trust out there. I think that's why he's earned a lot of respect from his teammates as well. But I think if I'm going to pencil in a winner right now, I'm going to lean towards him to claim the Lady Byng Award. All right, we'll take some of your predictions. Phones are wide open right now. I think we can all agree. We like how he plays. We like the skill set. But you have got to play with a little more fire, a little more compete. You gotta turn that care meter up. Find that dial that goes to 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. Turn it up, crank that sucker up. And I think that's exactly the message that the coaching staff has been trying to preach. The skill's there, the talent's there. But man, it is frustrating to watch when it doesn't come together on a regular basis. Back to the phones we go. We got Pedram on line 4. Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Stars were on the road to take on the Avalanche. Dallas picks up the extra point in the skills competition and the victory. The Predators were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Flyers. Philadelphia toppled their opponents with a big offensive night. The Hurricanes went toe-to-toe on the road against the Wild. Minnesota played one of their strongest defensive games of the year, and they get the win. We got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick look at some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Avalanche played on the road against the Sabres. Buffalo topples the opposition with a strong defensive performance, and they get the win. The Maple Leafs were hoping to play spoiler against the Oilers. Toronto picks up the win after needing a shootout to go the distance. The Blackhawks were on the road up against the Islanders. Chicago turned it up a notch in their own end en route to the shutout win. We got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot more stuff we got to get to, so don't even think about going anywhere. Stay with us. Those were pretty pointed comments from the coaching staff to say, hey, look, you need to tighten it up on the ice. You are way too undisciplined out there. We've tried to talk to you about this, and you're not getting the message. I don't know what's next, but I would think that maybe some playing time that could be shaved if you're not going to listen to what the coaching staff's telling you. But look, too many reckless penalties. It's hurting the team. But I thought it was pretty public from the coach's sentiment there from those comments that he needs to tighten it up. All right, meantime, some other interesting comments around the NHL here. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Hawks took to the ice to battle the Senators. Chicago played a thriller, and they score the OT winner to take the extra point. The Knights were in a dogfight on the road up against the Predators. Vegas turns in a strong defensive effort, enough to preserve the win. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Kraken played on the road against the Avalanche. Seattle played a great defensive game, but they turned it up a whole next level in front of the net, and they get the clean sheet shutout. The Devils were on the road to take on the Capitals. New Jersey toasted the opposition with a humongous offensive output. The Blue Jackets were looking to grab points on the road against the Flyers. Philadelphia pummels the opposition with a strong offensive output. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. You know, and I think one of the other storylines to me that I'm intrigued by is, you know, you look at what we've seen from him, and yes, we all know he's a talented player, but can he win? Can he win the Stanley Cup? And I think that question needs to be asked now because, you know, he's been in the league for more than a half a decade. I like what he said this week, that he's all in, that he is ready to be in it to win it. You know, I think he's going to need his teammates to be in that same mindset as well, right? I mean, he can only control what he can control, but let's see if there's a different player out there on the ice this year because, you know, I think there's a lot of talent there, but I think a lot of people have kind of seen, like, can he break on through to be great? right? There's very good, and then there's great. And I think we're waiting to see if he can make that jump and win the Stanley Cup. All right, to the phones we go. Matthew is on line 4. And the whole narrative and the expression being good in the room, right? Chemistry is important with a team. How many times have we seen teams that are absolutely stacked with talent and they fall apart? Why? Because there was just a disconnect within the room. And I know with some reporters and some of the media members asking the kid, saying, hey, you know what, why? How do you endear yourself to teammates more? I don't know if there's ever really an answer. I mean, you can go out and, try to be the best player you can be. That's one way to do it. Personally speaking, I think another great way to do it is buying everybody pizza. Because you know who likes pizza? Everybody, right? Everybody loves pizza. Let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to Brent. Brent is on line 3. Time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Avalanche played a game against the Oilers. Colorado toughed this one out, and they get the win. Hey, we've got some other final scores we want to get you caught up with around the league, and we'll do that now. The Sharks were in tough with the Kraken. Seattle posts a victory thanks to a strong offensive display. The Bolts took to the ice to lock up with the Panthers. Tampa Bay talked up a confident game. They backed it up on the heels of a great effort in goal. Stick taps to the goalie because he was great. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us, everybody. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Predators were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Golden Knights. Nashville puts in a workmanlike effort in this one, and they get the win. The Canadiens had a tall order to fill as they tried to take 2 on the road against the Red Wings. Detroit takes the win in a very close game. The Panthers were in a dogfight on the road against the Ducks. Anaheim played a thriller, and they come up with the winner in overtime. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. All right, let's take a look at some of the final scores in the league tonight. The Kraken paired up with the Sabres. Seattle toughs one out and pick up the win. The Sens took on the Penguins. Pittsburgh pulls this one out in a game that went right down to the finish. The Panthers had an on-ice collision with the Blue Jackets. Florida took this one after lighting the lamp multiple times in the shootout. Lots more still to come, including the story in MMA, the hardwood, and more. Stay with us. Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Jets were hoping to fly high on the road against the Avalanche. Winnipeg played a tight one, and they were able to pull it out in the end. Time to look at what was happening elsewhere in the NHL schedule. All right, let's go around the horn and see what happened elsewhere around the NHL tonight. The Blue Jackets look to run roughshod over the Islanders. The New York Islanders terrorized the opposition with a magical offensive display. The Capitals were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Devils. Washington played pad the stats night en route to the victory. The Kings had their hands full with the Panthers. Florida takes this one in a fun one. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Flyers were looking to steal 2 against the Bruins. Philadelphia played about as good as they have all year long defensively, and they pick up the clean sheet shutout win. The Habs battled it out against the Islanders. Montreal takes this one as they win it in the shootout. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. Let's check in on some of the final scores across the league tonight. The Blackhawks were looking to steal 2 points against the Avalanche. Chicago plays pad the stat night with a strong offensive performance. The Ducks took to the ice for a collision with the Panthers. Anaheim takes this one in a tightly contested affair. The Flames were hoping to take a bite out of the Lightning. Tampa Bay put in a strong effort. They needed extra time, and they still get the overtime win. The story on the ice continues in a moment. Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Bulls took to the road to match up with the Flyers. Tampa terrorizes the opposition with a big goal-scoring night in the win. The Blues faced off with the Predators. Nashville puts on a show to pick up the win. The Islanders faced off against the Panthers. Florida tightened it up late in their own end and did enough to preserve the win. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. You know, I want to bring it back to him for just a second here. When you look at trying to project who's going to win what awards this season, I'll say this. I think you're looking at the leading candidate for the Lady Byng Award. You know, most gentlemanly player. And it's not to suggest he's soft. He plays hard. He competes. He's not dirty, goes out there and delivers, right? That's a guy you can trust out there. I think that's why he's earned a lot of respect from his teammates as well. But I think if I'm going to pencil in a winner right now, I'm going to lean towards him to claim the Lady Byng Award. All right, we'll take some of your predictions. Phones are wide open right now. Busy night of action on the ice. Let's take a look at some of the finals that are in from tonight. The Blues were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Avalanche. St. Louis persevered through the night, and they get the shootout win. Let's take a look at this time at some of the other final results around the league tonight. The Bruins took to the road to match up with the Rangers. Boston tosses up a clean sheet thanks to a beautiful effort in goal. The Ducks were on the road to take on the Wild. Anaheim pile drove their competition with a big-time win. Don't go anywhere. We've got much more here on the show. All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down in all the action in the league tonight. The Jets were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Golden Knights. Winnipeg takes this one in a tightly contested affair and the bragging rights to go with it. Look, I think we can all agree. We like how he plays. We like the skill set. But you have got to play with a little more fire, a little more compete. You gotta turn that care meter up. Like, find that dial that goes to 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. Turn it up, crank that sucker up. And I think that's exactly the message that the coaching staff has been trying to preach. The skill's there, the talent's there. But man, it is frustrating to watch when it doesn't come together on a regular basis. Back to the phones we go. We got Pedram on line 4. Great night to be on the couch and watching hockey. Tons of scores around the league. Let's take a look at what went down. The Canucks went toe-to-toe on the road against the Devils. Vancouver played a complete game in this one and easily get the regulation win. The Ducks were hoping to play spoiler against the Penguins. Pittsburgh teed up a victory in a tightly contested affair. The Red Wings were on the road up against the Predators. Detroit proves to be too much in the extra frame. We'll check the inbox, we'll check the text line, and hear what you have to say next.
Be a pro career. Continue.